Hey guys, in this video I want to share with you 3 things that will make you a better leader. I'm sorry, it's like raining and it probably will be a bit noisy, but I want to share these things with you. So if you want to build a team, right, and this is on the stage in your business where maybe you maxed out yourself, right, and you want to build a team, you don't want to be just like doing all of the stuff by yourself. Your business is growing, so you want to hire people, and oftentimes, the first hires that you will have, those will not be successful hires. And this is like, that at least was experience for me. That was the experience, with a lot of our clients. That they hired few VAs, they hired few people, and it simply didn't work out. So I want to share with you 3 things that will help you to become a better leader, will help you to build more effective teams, and will help you to grow your company faster. Because at the end of the day, if you think about it, right? Like, think about the very successful companies. Think about Facebook, for example, right? Think about Google, why they are successful. Obviously, there was a good timing to the market. They had a good product. At the end of the day, what these companies have, they have the best talent. They have the best talent on earth, right? And they would pay any money, right? They would pay very high salaries. They would pay bonuses to attract these people and to create the best environment possible for these people to succeed, right? So at the end of the day, your company and your success is predicated 80-90% of it predicated on the team that you built, right? And so 3 things that I want to share with you. Number 1, and that was a mistake that I have made. These are these are all the mistakes that I have made and kind of the adjustments and the lessons I took from it. So number 1 is seeing people as they are instead of how you wish they would be, right? So for example, some people naturally more process oriented, right? And some people naturally more better in communication. And obviously people can change to some degree. People can acquire skills. But one of the mistakes that I have made, for example, is, we would hire a person and I would expect them to do certain things that are not natural to them. And again, to some degree it is possible you can get people, but it will be very hard for them to be kind of very top performer at that. So for example, if person never build process, never kind of it's not natural to them, they hate spreadsheets, right? And then you expecting that person to do exactly that task, this wouldn't work out. This wouldn't work out in a sense that, they'll do that job, but they'll do it half-assed because they simply don't enjoy it. It's not within their skill set. And so it will be done, but it will be done not to the optimal capability. And then when you see the work that they have done, you'll probably be dissatisfied with the work they have done. One of the things that would help you to eliminate that obviously is if you hire experienced people. So, and that's the stage in our business right now where we would pay a lot more for people that come in with existing level of experience, right? So for example, we want to, let's say, grow the project from 8 to 9 figures, right? So now we have to attract people to our company that have done exactly that have been part of the companies, that have been part of tremendous growth of companies from 8 to 9 figures, right? So you would have to obviously pay those people very well. 6-figure salary is is a starting point, right, for a lot of those positions. But what you will get for it, obviously you pay more, but you will save a lot of time because those people, first of all, they have the track record. They know exactly how to do it. They know exactly kind of all of the moving parts that go into it. So the amount of time that you will save will be just tremendous. And I was reading the book Blitzscaling. Blitzscaling, it's by the founder, Ray Hoffman, but by the founder of LinkedIn. I think he was also one of the co-founders of PayPal, if I'm not mistaken. So he's talking about there was, I think, Tumblr and Twitter, 2 companies that have just been founded 10 years ago. And they had very similar initial conditions, right, in terms of potential that they could have achieved. But Twitter managed to attract the person who had experience, I don't remember, who had experience with kind of scaling companies extremely fast, and so they managed to hire that person. They managed to bring that person to their team. And so the difference between those like few key hires was that Twitter had a valuation, I think they went public or something, and so they had like a company value of like $7 billion. And the Tumblr, also initial conditions were the same, like, it's like head to head, they had only valuation of 1 billion, which is still massive, right? It's not like small company, but the difference like 7 times. It is a massive difference on that scale.
Hey guys, people have been asking me how we scale to multiple 6 figures or even 7 figures per month without getting shut down on Facebook. And we have a very sophisticated solution for this that I want to share with you, but it's just like too valuable to give away for free. So if you guys want this solution, just book a call with one of my team members and we'll show you exactly what it is and how it works, and we'll see if that's a good fit for you and for your business. So just book a call with my team member. We'll share it with you so you can scale your business to multiple 6 figures or even 7 figures per month without getting shut down on Facebook, without having inconsistency, and with high profitability. So just book a call with my team and I'll see you there.
So while having very similar initial conditions, so that could be the difference between those like few key people that you hire. Seeing people as they are, seeing people for the experience, if they have already the experience with exactly what you want to achieve, that's obviously like very clear, right? Like person, like you hire a person who's done exactly what you want to do, and that person just goes kind of like to your company because they like a new challenge, or do you give them like very attractive conditions? That is one of those things that will change your company. That will just can take your business from whatever it is, like let's say you're like 7-figure level, can take it to 8-figure level, or maybe even like multiple 8-figure, 9-figure level. Those few key hires, because like sometimes, we are as most of the time we are as entrepreneurs, we are hiring people that are like us. So if I'm like, let's say I'm extroverted, I like to talk to people, then like I will probably hire like people subconsciously, right? Because I like people that are like me. And so I would hire people that are like extroverted as well. They like to talk. They're good with other people, right? So now you hire more people like you, but then the other side of it, right? Like people maybe who are not as communicative, but who can actually get stuff done. Those people are called integrators. A friend of mine like told me that like that type of people that most of the companies lack, and that like lacking those type of people could be difference between success and failure in a business, right? A lot of people can talk and kind of like can talk their way into some position. Yeah, I have impressive resume and I like to work here and I'm very passionate. That's all awesome. But then at the end of the day, you look at, for example, let's say spreadsheet. Again, spreadsheets, very simple example. Hey, okay, so let's say you have like any spreadsheets oh no, I don't have spreadsheets, but like I kind of like remember, or kind of like I know subconsciously where things should be. And so obviously that person wouldn't be like a good fit for the particular position if you require more like numbers oriented person, or person that is more like precise, more science driven, data driven, right? So seeing people as they are is a massive point. And obviously you give people a chance. People want to prove themselves in a certain position. You give them a chance, right? Okay, so here are the conditions. We give you, for example, like 3 months to figure this stuff out and to streamline it. And here exactly, now I'm leading into the second point, which is the expectations. The expectations for the person that you would have. Like, so you hire the person and you tell them, like, if you don't give them like very clear expectations, very clear KPIs. For example, you hire the person. Okay, so let's say you hire a person with the experience. Okay, let's say you hire like chief operating officer, chief marketing officer. Let's say you pay them very well. It's like, let's say 6-figure salary to start with, $150,000 to start with as a salary. Then the expectations for that person must be very clear. Okay, so our goal is to take the company from, let's say, 7 figures, right? Like let's say you're like $5 million to a year. Take the company to, let's say, $50 million, right? So that's very clear, right? And we want to do it in a time frame of like 1 year or 2 years, whatever your kind of like vision is, depending how fast, how risk averse, maybe you want to make like some profit short term, or you just like don't care about the profit short term. You would just reinvest every single dollar back into the business because you want to grow the volume, right? So depending kind of like on your ambition on that side, but you would give them very clear expectations. Having those like very clear expectations. Now, sometimes people would understand you, and sometimes you would hire people that like don't need like those kind of like expectations, like very clear. They kind of like subconsciously know. So let's say one of our video editors, he's amazing. He's from Russia, and so like when you give him tasks, like he knows like this must be done like as soon as possible, right? This is just like by default. I don't have to communicate. I don't have to like give those expectations. But initially, and especially as your team grows, let's say you have like 5 video editors, how do you just like, you can say like as soon as possible, but that is like definition is different for different people. For some people, as soon as possible, maybe like in 1 week from now. For some people, as soon as possible could be like in like few hours from now, right? So the expectations for that would be very different. So the more precise you are, with your expectations for a specific person on your team, right? And obviously, you know, those need to be like challenging expectations, but you will, you know, even maybe like above like what is actually possible. But if you see the person is actually pushing, and that's pushing people to perform even better, because, you know, if we set high goals for ourselves as humans, and this is what we're aiming for, then even if we don't achieve, let's say you're aiming for like, you're going from 10 million to like $100 million, and you like do everything to hit those $100 million, you're expanding different channels, you're investing back into the business. Okay, so maybe you will not hit 100 million, but you at least hit like 40-50 million dollars, which still is pretty like valuable company. Having those type of like direct expectations is hyper important. The other thing is seeing people as they are, setting very clear expectations about like the position that you're hiring for, and kind of like what you expect from them in specific numbers, in specific, like be as specific as possible, because that will help. Okay, so we have agreed on these numbers. I mean, if that's like in, for example, on Slack, or that's in kind of like verbal communication is good for most people, but sometimes you need to have it in text, or you need to have it in writing, because this will simplify. Because then like, let's say person doesn't deliver and they say, oh, I don't remember you telling me about this, and then like it's kind of like who said what, right? Like it becomes an argument that doesn't really need to be there, because like it could have been in writing, it could have been just like on Slack. Hey, okay, I'll send you this is exactly what we have discussed. So let's say you have a conversation with someone on your team, and you discussed, and there's specific action points or specific, let's say, expectations. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. It's Alex Fedotoff, 3F at the end, because I share behind the scenes strategies and things we do in our 8-figure business, and also in my personal life. So make sure you follow me, and I'll see you there. So all of those in writing on Slack. At any given point, you can just come back and review it together. Okay, we had this communication. It's all in writing here, and you have agreed, and this is it. It's as clear as like day and night. Yeah. So that's in terms of the expectations. And number 3 is, that's also the mistake that I have made. I think a lot of entrepreneurs have made it too. It's call it delegation versus abdication, right? So sometimes, you know, we would hire a person, hire like team member, and we would expect them to know like everything we know about like what we want them to do, and that is hard, right? Unless person is like very like hyper bright and also had the experience with exactly the same thing that you want them to do, that is like very hard to do. So your goal as a leader, as a business owner, like would be to train those people, right, and give them ongoing feedback. So first of all, those are things as well that we are working on right now in our business to streamline. For example, once a person joins your team, give them all of the necessary training like laid out, right? So they get like 80-90% of everything they need to know about the specific, the particular situation of your company, particular situation of the specific job position that you're hiring them for. So in terms of that, like you're giving them very like detailed training, but also the ongoing feedback, right? So over time, it would be your like team leaders that you'd have kind of like the one-on-ones with. But initially, like let's say you're hiring first people, I would recommend just connect with those people like once a day, right? Like once a day, or even like twice a day. So like end of the day and beginning of the day. If that person is very important for your team, just catching up. Okay, so what is going on? How is everything? And then training and giving them specific feedback. So let's say you're training like a customer support person, like, okay, so what have been like the most challenging tickets you had, right? Then you go like directly with them, you're sharing your screen on Zoom, you go exactly into the ticketing system, you're opening the ticket, and let's say customer like was like unhappy with the product or with shipping time. And then you see how they deal with that situation, how they deal with the ticket. And if there are like any issues, you are in position to give them feedback right away. I mean, you can record all of these calls. First, second, you can have it in writing as well. So you communicate, okay, so in those type of situations, here's how we deal with those type of situations. You give them direct feedback, you're helping them, you're coaching them. So you have to think of yourself as one of our clients. He actually gave me this, like, yeah, actually you're a coach, you're a mentor to your team, right? So a lot of people buying mentorship program, we have like tons of people in our mentorship program that we are helping that are, doing like multiple seven figures per month. Amazing people. We help them to scale from like, from point A to point B. So we are mentoring them. But at the same time, you are the mentor to your team, right? If you take the mentorship for yourself, you should also give mentorship to your people, right? And you will be their mentor. You are like the main person. Now, obviously, sometimes you'd have people that kind of like, you give feedback and you give feedback and you give feedback and you give feedback, and like people simply don't understand. Like those people probably should not be on your team. So it's better to just let them go. For example, I have like the rule of three. Like, so if a person repeats the same mistake like 3 times, then, it's better to let them go, right? Because like, you don't want to have, unless they're doing like everything else in their job position, like unless they do everything like perfectly, everything else, that is simply not worth the stress to trying to reteach them, like retrain them. And like, you simply would save more time by letting them go and finding another person for that position that would be more trainable, more coachable, and that would actually follow through on what you teach them. Right, guys? So these are the 3 things. Again, to reiterate, seeing people as they are. Make sure that you're not delusional about the qualities of people. If people say, yeah, I will do this task, and then like you see that they haven't got it done, and in their life they never got it done, so they never had the experience. So don't be delusional about the people, right? Like if someone is good at something but they suck at other things, sometimes people are just like not self-aware, and that's also in our team right now. We're trying to give like more of the self-awareness. Okay, so you're good at this, but you're not necessarily good at with this thing, right? You're good with let's say with communicating with other people, with coaching them, with training, but you're not good with let's say again spreadsheets, right? Like whatever. So being like not delusional about that, being like clear, okay, what are the strong suits and weak sides of each person, because all of us have our strengths and weaknesses, right? And being able to realize those, first of all for yourself, and second for your team members. So that's number 1. Second, setting very clear expectations in terms of what is expected of a certain person on your team. And third is being a coach to them, being a mentor, giving them ongoing feedback. Obviously, if you see that feedback is not applied, if they make the same mistakes, you just let them go, and you don't waste your time and their time too. So guys, these are the 3 things that will make you better leaders. These are the 3 mistakes that I have made, and evolving, from those, and probably like those will be like different, soon I won't be even like be involved in the hiring process that much. But these are the 3 things you can take and start using today. Whether you're using like hiring for like very junior position like virtual assistant, or you are hiring for more like senior position, senior executives, like you still have to be very clear what you want. You have to be clear about their strengths and weaknesses. You have to coach them and give them feedback to make them better. to make yourself better as well as a leader, as a coach, as a mentor to your team. So this is it, guys. If you're at that level with your business where you already have momentum, but you want to take it to the next level, check the link below in the comments, book a call with your team, and we'll see exactly how we can help you to scale. We have the private mastermind community for our members, so you can connect with like 7-8 figure entrepreneurs, see how they grow their businesses, see the system they use in their businesses, like ongoing help. This is like a team. So that's an invitation for few of you who are at that stage of your business and you want to take it to the next level. If you want to surround yourself with top people, be on the top team, then there should be a link below. And make sure you subscribe to my channel, like this video. Let me know what you think in the comments, maybe some specific hacks or things that you applied for your team members to become a better leader for them. And thank you very much, guys, for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.